What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So we all love the $1,200, $600, and $1,400 stimulus checks. Those were great. They helped out the economy. They helped out the American people. They boosted us, got us back somewhat on our feet. But now the question is, are we going to see an additional stimulus check? It's not just the American people and the ones that are hurting they're asking. These are companies, CEOs, lawmakers. Everybody wants to know, are the American people gonna get an additional stimulus check? And there's a reason behind that. According to multiple reports, there are more calls now for a fourth stimulus check. And the reasoning behind some of these calls is actually pretty interesting. And this does play a role and impact the stock market. And that's the reason why, according to a few experts, more CEOs and executives are starting to give their input as to what should go into this $3.5 trillion infrastructure package. They say many Democratic lawmakers say a fourth stimulus check is needed to help people get back on their feet and pretty much give them their lives back that they had before the pandemic. Others are urging President Biden to push another stimulus check through because if not, it will negatively impact Democrats during the upcoming midterm elections in 2022, in about 1 year. And then, now we have economists saying that without an additional stimulus check, and again, this is where things get very interesting, then they say the American people won't have the money needed to keep this economy moving the way it is. They say their people are out of money. They need more money to help prop up the economy and keep the stock market from falling. Well, today the stock market started to fall, and it was a great day to go buy. Now, and I'll address one of the stocks that I bought earlier on today. If you want to go jump in on it, I don't know what it's going to be at when you watch this video, but I thought it was a good deal at the price that I bought it at. So if you stick around to the end, I'll tell you what that was and what I bought it for. Now, recent reports are indicating that the personal savings rate is almost flat compared to what it was before the pandemic. That's not good because the American people did not save money before the pandemic. The American people saved money during the pandemic. That's an issue. That is a huge issue because what we have been seeing over the past few months is the American people are spending money. They're going on vacations, traveling. They're buying things that they've been waiting for the past year to go and buy. Furniture, okay? Window coverings today, I think was up like 17%. That's huge, like month over month, 17%. That's massive inflation for window coverings, okay? But people are still buying new and used cars if they can get them, right? They're traveling, they're paying for services that they used to not pay for because it's something that they now think they need. Well, what we know is that according to multiple reports, that right now being that the personal savings rate is fallen to what it was almost during the pre-pandemic, what we're seeing now is this is causing economists to predict the future consumer spending is going to drop off significantly. Why? We have no money. We have no money, and it doesn't look like we're going to get any additional stimulus from Congress. Now, yes, the child tax credit payments are still coming out. We're still seeing that stimulus get pushed through the economy. But outside of that, there's really nothing. We also know that today, Senator Joe Manchin said he is really sticking to that idea that in order to get a tax credit, you have to have tax liabilities. The only people that have tax liabilities have a job. So, do not have a job, don't get the child tax credit. But yet others are saying that, well, staying at home and raising children is a job, and it is. Others say, well, if you're going to school, should that be a job? Should that be considered? Well, according to Senator Joe Manchin, he is saying, no, if you do not have a W-2, you need a W-2 or you should not be able to receive the child tax credit. Well, that throws in a whole bunch of different issues there, and we'll address that in a future video. But what I can tell you is some experts are saying that the $250 to $300 per month child tax credit, it takes too long. It takes too long to get this back into the economy. It is consistent, which is good. And let me just ask you this. If you would rather have a consistent payment every single month, Or would you rather have a lump sum at the beginning of the year? For instance, a $1,400 stimulus check, or would you rather have 5.5 months of a $250 child tax credit payment? Now, just answer down in the comment section below. I'm not asking you this because Congress is proposing this or coming up with this idea. I'm just telling you what economists are saying. They're saying that the tax credits, yes, they are consistent, but they take far too long to actually get back into the American people's hands so they can use that money and spend it, which would prop up the economy, prop up different businesses. The American people would get back to work, schools would open, and hopefully, if everything worked out, COVID would eventually die off. I don't think that's going to happen. Many experts believe COVID is here to stay, and we're going to have to live with this for the rest of our lives. Now, many lawmakers continue to push for another stimulus check. They say there is proof that stimulus was more valuable than a job itself. Yes. Can you believe this? This is insane that we're even talking about this, but they're saying that stimulus proved to be more valuable than a job itself. And according to the U.S. Census Bureau, the supplemental poverty rate, it declined by 2.6% from 2019 to 2020. That's insane that poverty declined when we saw 10 plus million, was it at one point there's 20 some million people on unemployment, and yet the poverty rate fell? That's insane. And this is what some experts are saying, is that they now question if their priorities have been correct all along because of this new data. When stimulus is proven to be more valuable than a job, that's insane. That is crazy to me. But the truth right now is another stimulus check, it might not be coming. This may not come back. We may not see it. Now the CPI data, the Consumer Price Index this morning, this was very encouraging, right? We're not seeing runaway inflation, so that's good news. Prices are still inflated, yes. Services still cost more than they did pre-pandemic, obviously. But the issue here is that wages haven't increased like inflation has. And the prices of things like peanut butter or meat and bacon and used cars, that's all increased. Well, so why does all this matter when it comes to the upcoming $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill? This matters because we are now starting to get pushback from companies. These companies, big companies, are now starting to complain because they say that for this past year, stimulus has propped up the economy, pumped billions of dollars, trillions of dollars back into the economy. And now it's hurting them, and because they're saying this is not going to be continued. If we saw this amount of money being pumped into the economy, it should continue, right? That's what some businesses are saying. But really, they're not hurting. In reality, these businesses are doing just fine. They're doing just fine. Companies are just upset right now because they've seen some of the best quarters in terms of revenue. Obviously they have, because the American people had more money because of stimulus. They were staying home. They were working remotely. They had nothing else to do but buy. Many people couldn't travel, so they were just buying stuff from different stores. Amazon, Walmart, Target, Costco. They had great quarters. They had a great year. Well, now, a lot of these companies, they're realizing that there's no way to sustain the growth that they've had over the past year. And so now, they're a little bit upset. So this is why so many large corporations are fighting back the tax credit or the corporate tax rate increase, right? They're fighting back because they're now saying that consumers already purchased the products, and now they could potentially have to pay a larger corporate tax rate for this year. So some corporations are trying to get it pushed. If we're going to include it, let's push it to 2022. Let's push it out a couple years. We'll pay for it then. Because here's the issue. Many of these companies, they can't go back and say, oh, hey, Jan Smith, I know you bought that couch for $1,200, but we have to pay a little bit more in taxes, so it's actually be $1,220, $1,230. Can you pay that extra 20 or 30 bucks? They can't do that. So here's the issue now, is consumers don't have much more money to spend. The savings rate's pretty much flat, right? We're not looking so great. most American people work paycheck to paycheck. If it isn't getting worse because of this whole pandemic. So here's what we know. Companies can't increase their prices, okay? But yet, they can, but if people already purchase those products, they can't go back and try to recoup that cost. So they're gonna have to pay an increase in corporate tax, right? That's gonna be an issue. Okay, great. But then they're struggling because the American people don't have money to spend. They're having supply chain issues, right? So what we're seeing is many companies are getting lobbyists to go and push Congress to try to get an additional stimulus check included or more assistance to the American people. It doesn't just have to be that stimulus check. They want to see more assistance to the American people, and they're really pushing for it. But at the same time, they're pushing, yeah, we'll pay an increased corporate tax rate. That's fine, but let's get more to the American people. Because what happens if we increase our corporate tax rate, but yet the American people still don't have any money? Nothing, because they're not selling products. They're not selling services. They're struggling, right? So here's what's gonna happen. These large corporations that normally don't pay any taxes, they're gonna be required to pay more. And it's too late to push the tax onto the consumer. It's too late, they've already purchased. And because of this, what we're going to see is future earnings fall. This is going to affect the stock market, already is, and this is one of the reasons why I'm telling you, now is a good time to buy. There's many companies out there, many stocks that are great, they're just beaten down. Hey, there's one that I purchased today that was greatly beaten down. I think it's a very good stock. I think it's a great company. I've been investing in this company for years, and I still think where I bought it today was a good price. Here's what I can tell you. Here's what I'm doing moving forward. First, I'm not saving a lot of money. If I'm saving money, it's because I have a plan, a future, thing that I'm trying to do, right? I'm currently trying to invest in a few different, fourplexes, right? Not huge. I'm not being Grant Cardone and investing in, a 16 unit apartment complex, right, or something bigger. I'm looking at a couple fourplexes. Now, so I'm saving money there. But here's the thing that I'm doing now. I'm not making any large purchases outside of that, any big ticket items. Just not doing that, I'm saving money, okay? I'm also making sure that I'm actively investing into beaten down stocks on a daily basis. Daily basis. So here's what I bought today. This morning I purchased Wynn Resorts. Wynn Resorts opened up, I believe, at like 7% down. They were, yesterday they closed at $103 and something. I put a buy order in at $90, okay? Ended up purchasing Wynn Resorts. So I'm pretty much coming down. I think it was down like 12%, 13% when I bought it. So that's good news there. But this is it was trading at 103, now it was at 90 when I bought it. And it's because of some Macau regulations and also another possible COVID outbreak. That was the reason why. But again, I think this is a very valuable company. I think it's undervalued at $90, so I picked it up. But this is what I'm doing. So what I can tell you is, I don't know if we're gonna see an additional stimulus check, but what I do suggest is if you are looking, you have some money set aside that you're not using, don't keep it in savings. Do not keep it in savings because it will be less valuable tomorrow than it is today. Invest it into something. Invest it because we are seeing a little bit of inflation. We're not seeing a huge, talk from Congress about an additional stimulus check or more stimulus outside of the child tax credit payments. So because of things like that, I am actively looking at stocks. I always have been, I always will be, but that's one of the things I recommend to all you guys as well. So again, if you have any questions on this, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Go follow me over on TikTok as well. The other day I actually outlined 3 of the stocks that I purchased, what I purchased them at, which ones they were. So again, if you want to go check that out, make sure you go and do that. I'll put a link to TikTok down in the description box below as well. I'll also put a link to open up an account with Webull. You deposit $100, you get 2 free stocks valued up to, I think, $2,300. So again, if you have questions there, please ask down in the comment section below. Again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.